In our last video, we discussed the layout of our schematic for our circuit. We discussed the path of the electricity through and some of the components. In this video, we're going to look at the schematic key that you're going to be required to have for your circuit in your documentation. So in the schematic key, you want to identify all of the parts. We'll go back to our schematic real quick and look, and we can see that we have 1, 2, 3 ESCs. We have 1, 2, 3 motors, the receiver, an LED with a resistor, and a battery and a switch. Now, in the case of our circuit, the ESCs and the motors are all identified as 1, 2, 3. They all look like they're the same size, and there's no markings on the schematic that specify the particular model or make of any of the components. We just see how they're connected together in this particular circuit. As we scroll down to the schematic key, this is required so that you have a better understanding of what is actually in the circuit. If you need to reorder parts or if you need to replace a component, you don't know necessarily what the part is. If you just see motor, you're not sure what type of motor. But in the case of the schematic key, we can see the ESC1 is a Castle Mamba Max 2, an 18-volt rated ESC. And I think it's actually rated for up to 6S, from like 4 to 6S, which means it can handle up to 24 volts if it has LiPo batteries attached. ESC2 is the same, ESC3 is the same. We're using the same ESCs for all 3 of our motors. Then when we get to our motors, we can see that the Castle Creations model 1406, 1900 kV brushless motor. Motor 2 is the same, and in the case of this, our Castle Creations model 1515, 2200, that's our weapon motor. That's identified as motor 3. That is a different motor, so we need to pay attention to specifics of these particular motors when we're connecting things together. When we come to the switch and the LED, you can see that the switch is a homemade UHMW switch, and the LED, which has the built-in resistor, it's a McMaster-Carr. It's a 24-volt LED indicator light, and we have the part number for McMaster-Carr in the event that we needed to order more. The receiver, we have the description of an orange RX 6-channel receiver. It's important to identify how many channels you might have on the receiver and the make and model. And our battery, and this is going to be very important for a safety check-in, that the battery is identified. You need to know the type of battery, so whether it's a nickel metal hydride, a lithium ion, or in this case a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is legal. LiPo, L-I-P-O, or LiPoly, which is lithium polymer, is not allowed. So that's important that it's identified in the schematic and in the circuit and on the battery itself, because the judges will not allow any other type of battery than, or they just will not allow lithium polymer batteries. We do have a 16.5 volt, 4,500 milliamp hour, and it's a Green Series Max Amps battery. So if you were to go to their website and look this particular one up, it would be easy to find now that you have all the information for it. And that is the information that's really needed in your schematic key, is not only the symbols, but a description of each of the components, and that they should match up with what we actually have in our circuit for the robot.